All right, Guru Nation, thank you so much for watching. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment, share. Really means a lot to me. We're kicking off this video with some questions. This one on, they emailed me, Dan at theclinicaltrialsguru.com, and you can do the same thing too. Or you can text me 949-415-6256. Good afternoon. I follow you on YouTube. Thank you. Everyone else, please make sure you like, subscribe, comment, share. I bought your book, which is the Comprehensive Guide to Clinical Research. But my question is more specific, and I would like to present those specifics to you to obtain more tailored answer. If there is a fee for my request, please provide a link. I do not charge for advice. We have Academy. We have several courses that we teach online that have internships, but the purpose of my channel is to educate, and it's not really to make. I make money from the research sites I own and the other businesses, so I don't not going to do like consulting for payments. But I answer the questions. So just your subscription and your like and your follow and your comments is payment enough. I am a foreign medical doctor. I love this already. Without a US license. I have a degree as a clinical laboratory scientist, but that field does not resonate with me, and I would like to transition into clinical trials. I have CCRP dual certificate as medical science liaison and medical monitor. That is awesome. I am thinking of taking a course for clinical trial management, but I have no interest for a managerial position. My only thought is that clinical trial management course might strengthen my chances to successfully transition into clinical research field. So, would you please be able to tell me what is my standing with my education and what are my current prospects? Since you did not mention money, the route I would go if I were you, and I've seen so many others go, and I've hired people like this, international medical graduates are amazing. They eventually could become United States medical monitors. I've interviewed a few on my channel. You need to go at small research sites near you and become a study coordinator. If you do not like management, you have no business being a clinical trial manager. Like it's literally in the name. You're probably not going to get hired for that just because you take a course online, which you're talking to someone who owns online courses. I'm the first one to tell you, just because you take a course online does not mean you're going to get a position in that role. It's just to educate you. In our case, it's to give you an internship experience so that you go into the job market with experience on your resume. So, not only do you not like management, but you're not going to get a CTM role. CTMs in research usually have been project managers or CRAs or something in the in the CRO or the pharma positions. And those people usually were study coordinators before. So maybe unfortunately, maybe not. I would go coordinator route. I would also take an extra twist on it to speed things up. I would ignore all the academic medical centers. This will not work with them. Although if you just the one click apply, it's not gonna hurt. But I would go in person to small research clinics in your area. People then ask me, it always amazes me. People then ask me, how do I find these clinics in my area? Pretend you're a patient looking for a study in your area. Just Google it. Like, I don't know anyone who doesn't know how to Google. So Google your area, keep searching, go on Instagram, go on LinkedIn, find these clinics in your area. Make sure they're smaller-ish, so sub 20 employees. Ideally, you want like a 5 to 10 person site. And just go in person with your resume and do something else. Get your free good clinical practice training. You can get it online for free. You don't need to pay for it. And get your free IATA. So that's shipping hazardous goods. If you go to my playlist on YouTube channel in the fundamentals, you will find a video with some of these links underneath for free. But just if you really need it, email me and I'll send it to you. Go with those things in hand talk to the lead CRC, talk to a coordinator, talk to the site director, talk to the PI, talk to the owner. Don't be rude about it. Like if they tell you that they're not, do you have an appointment? And like, don't argue with the front desk, but be polite, but assertive and tell them you're willing to wait and that you just really want to talk to them because want to learn about research and you're a foreign medical graduate and you watch this guy on YouTube and you can blame me. You watch this guy on YouTube and he told me to come here. Um, and then tell them why you're going to be good. First of all, you're going to understand the clinical aspects. You're a doctor. And second of all, the PIs love foreign medical doctors because they have an extra set of eyes. They know that you're a clinician and that you're gonna, if they miss a lab result or if they miss something on the labs, you're gonna have a second opinion. Same with the ECGs. Most coordinators don't have that capability and skill set. Now, if that's taking longer than you'd like, I would find the psychiatric clinical trial sites that are small in your area, central nervous system disorders, because they always need highly educated people like you to develop into psychometric raters. raters. If you don't know what that is, Google it. But essentially, they're the ones that interview the patients and score. These are the gold standards for most of these indications. For example, in schizophrenia, it's the positive and negative symptoms of schizophrenia scale. With enough shadowing the existing raters at the site, you will be able to get certified internally for the studies. You don't have to pay for it and become a rater. They will want to develop you as a rater. And in the meantime, you're going to be a coordinator. And you're going to do both. And that is how you're going to transition into clinical research. From there, you can go to CRA, which has higher pay, and you would get that job if you did coordinating for 2 or 3 years because of your background. And after CRA, you can probably do some medical monitoring because these studies are getting more globalized, and a lot of our trials have medical monitors that are not US licensed. And so that's the roadmap. That's the roadmap. I didn't just invent this. This is an established blueprint that I've witnessed from like a primary source. I've seen it with my own eyes. I've watched these career paths grow. That's what I would do. Don't waste your time with clinical trial management. If you don't like management, why are you going to do that? Plus, you're not even going to get that job. So you're just going to waste money on a course. And that is what I would do. A couple other questions from the community, which are pretty good, from someone else. Any suggestions to get more exposure or acquire certification so I could become more well-rounded in AI? And there's courses you can take on AI online for free. Coursera has some courses. There's no, here's the thing with these things. There's no, there's no exception to using the tool yourself. So I have ChatGPT, I have Grok. I don't use Gemini. I use those two AI primarily. Those are my two learn language models I use. But I use other things to like splice videos and the shorts that you see on my channel are AI created. But those are the two I use, Grok and OpenAI, which is ChatGPT, and just start using it in your daily life. That's how you become more well-rounded in AI. And then you can start getting more sophisticated with it. If you spend some time on ChatGPT, you're going to see all the GPT plugins you can use. Honestly, I don't even mess around with too many of them. When AI first came out, I did, but now they just kind of encompass them into the main GPT. And the one I use, there's a reasoning model that you could play around with that is the ChatGPT o4 mini. There's one that's good at coding, o4 mini high. And then there's the GPT 4o, which is like the one I use most of the time. It's great for most tasks. But if you want advanced reasonings, like you want a deep dive report on something, I'm about to do a deep dive report on one of the biotechs that I'm going to turn into a YouTube video. That's how I would use AI. Sure, take a course, but by the time you complete that 6 week, 8 week course, most likely Grok and ChatGPT or Gemini have released a new version of their AI because things are moving so quickly. I think your certification is going to be irrelevant in a year because the industry is moving so fast. So just start using it. There's no there's nothing better than just using it. Somebody is also asking, as a coordinator and a recently acquired fellowship in software engineering, what would you suggest as a career or job I should look for so that these two role could merge? The You're in the perfect crossroads right now. Any coordinator, first of all, you're rare. Most coordinators do not have software engineering background. There is an explosion of, primarily because of AI uh, hype cycle, which is not going to be a hype cycle. It's going to be a paradigm change. But right now, it feels like a hype cycle. There are so many startups trying to get into our industry. If you're on LinkedIn, you're going to see them. If you go to any conference, if you come to Save Our Sites, please do, by the way, you're going to meet a bunch of these tech vendors. So you have some established ones like Creo, Inato, Viva, and you have some new up and coming ones. And I'm just going off of like some of the SOS sponsors off the top of my head. You have some new ones like Glean, like mine that I'm one of the co-owners of, Patient Ace, Select IQ. They're all trying to sell, even if they're selling a free product, they're all trying to sell to sites, specifically study coordinators. I met with one of these tech vendors here yesterday for dinner. They visited my site here in Yuma, and they asked me, "Do you think cold calling coordinators will work to let them know what our company does?" And I said no, because coordinators are, uh, first of all, super busy. Second of all, they're not necessarily thinking outside of the box. And who you really want is like the site director or the owner of that site. But the coordinators are basically gatekeepers for that. But what you want to do is actually have a coordinating background experience and then go engage with other coordinators at conferences for the good ones like SOS, or online on a daily basis, whether it's in Reddit or LinkedIn, where coordinators actually interact with one another. There are so few, like these tech vendors are hiring people with site experience. So that's what I would do. And not even the fact that you have like software engineering background, like they're just hiring coordinators, period. But if you have software engineering background, you're probably like a generalist, multifaceted utility player on that team. Something like a Shohei Ohtani where you could pitch and bat. And so I think you should look into that, and you definitely belong on LinkedIn. Message me on LinkedIn so I know who you are. Uh, one more. No, I think that's enough because this video is long enough. I don't want this to become a podcast. We'll get to the other ones later. As always, drop your questions in the comments. I'll make a video, or text me 949-415-6256, or email me Dan at theclinicaltrialsguru.com, or find me on Instagram, Dan Sfera, or find me on LinkedIn, Dan Sfera. I'm not hard to find. Let's do this, Guru Nation. Talk to you later. Bye bye.